Harper Audio presents The Mercedes Coffin by Faye Kellerman, narrated by George Guidall, and directed by George Davis. Copyright 2008 by Plotline, Incorporated. Production copyright 2008 by HarperCollins Publishers.
Chapter 1. 25 years ago, they were called nerds. Today, they're called billionaires. Even among outcasts, Genoa Greeves suffered more than most. Saddled with a weird name, her parents' love for Italy produced two other children, Pisa and Roma, and a gawky frame, Genoa spent her adolescence in retreat. She talked if spoken to, but that was the extent of her social interaction. Her teenage years were spent in a self-imposed exile. Even the oddest of girls would have nothing to do with her, and the boys acted as if she'd been stricken by the plague. She remained an island to herself, utterly alone. Her parents had been concerned about her isolation. They had taken her through an endless parade of shrinks who offered multiple diagnoses: depression, anxiety disorder, Asperger's syndrome, autism, schizoid personality disorder, all of the above in comorbidity. Medication was prescribed. Psychotherapy was 5 days a week. The shrinks said the right things, but they couldn't change the school situation. No amount of ego-bolstering or self-esteem-enhancing exercises could possibly counteract the cruelty of being so profoundly different. When she was 16, she fell into a deep depression. Medication began to fail. It was Genoa's firm opinion that she would have been institutionalized had it not been for two entirely unrelated incidents. As a woman, Genoa had definitely been born without feminine wiles, or any attributes that made girls desirable sexual beings. But if she wasn't born with the right female qualities, at least Genoa did have the extremely good fortune to be born at the right time, that is, the computer age. High-tech and the personal computer proved to be Genoa's manna from heaven. Chips and motherboards were her only friends. When she spoke to a computer, mainframes at first and then the omnipotent desktops that followed, she found at last that she and an inanimate object were communicating in a language that only the blessed few could readily understand. Technology beckoned, and she answered the summons like a siren's call. Her mind, the primary organ of her initial betrayal, became her most welcomed asset. As for her body, well, in Silicon Valley, who cared about that? The world that Genoa eventually inhabited was one of ingenuity and ideas, of bytes and megabytes and brilliance. Bodies were merely skeletons to support that great thinking machine above the neck. But even growing up at the cutting edge of the computer age wasn't a guaranteed passport to success. Achievement was surely destined to elude Genoa had it not been for one individual, other than her parents, who believed in her. Dr. Bennett Little, was the coolest teacher in high school. His specialty was history, with a strong emphasis on political science. But he had been so much more than just an educator, a guidance counselor, and the boys' vice principal. Handsome, tall, and athletic, he had made the girls swoon and had garnered the boys' respect by being tough but fair. He knew everything about everything and had been universally loved by the 2,500 high school students he had served. All that was good and fine, but virtually meaningless to Genoa, until that fateful day when she passed him in the hallway. He had smiled at her and said, "Hi, Genoa, how's it going?" She had been so stunned. She hadn't answered, running away, her face burning as she thought, why would Dr. Ben know my name? The second time she passed him, she still didn't answer back when he asked, "How's it going?" but at least she didn't exactly run away. It was more like a fast step that converted into a trot once he was safely down the hall. The third time, she looked down and mumbled something. By the sixth time, she managed to mumble a "hi" back, although she still couldn't make eye contact without her cheeks turning bright red. Their first laugh
Sample complete. Ready to continue?